Hurry back. Hurry.
Blog Talk Radio.
They're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't believe me, and it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing. Them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday night here off the chain. I'm your host, Yvonne Mason. That was Bruno Mars. You're just amazing the way you are. I played that song for two reasons. One, because I have a very special guest on my show tonight. And two, that is honor of my little granddaughter that I miss so much that we lost 2 years ago. Most of y'all know about her. And she was amazing just the way she was, even though she didn't think she was. So that is in honor of both of my two special girls, one in heaven and one on the air with me tonight, along with her grandmother. But before we get to them, I have some exciting news. This show just never ceases to amaze me. Every morning I get up and I'm going, where are we today? And I start pulling numbers and I get this great big huge smile on my face, because every day the show grows exponentially because of all of you. It is your show, ladies and gentlemen. You the guest, you, my listeners. It's your show. It's not my show. I'm just a facilitator. Just here on Blog Talk Radio, just the show itself. This morning we hit 70,760 listeners. And thank you, Australia. You continue to be my number one fan. And what I would do without you, I do not know. So please keep listening. And please keep sending us artists like the Teskey Brothers, who are absolutely magnificent. Now, when we add this show to all the podcasts that this show shows up on, which is iTunes, TuneIn Radio, FM.com, YouTube, Podcast.com, Podcast Garden, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Spreaker, we have hit 88,643 listeners in over 70 countries. The guests are getting exposure in places they would never, ever think about getting exposures. Oh, they get heard in places like Sudan, Iran, Japan, Egypt, Italy, Greece, Scotland, just to name a few. I mean, it's a phenomenal. I am so proud of this show. Now, before we introduce you to our guest, remember, I'm going to keep reminding you on January the 5th at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Investigation Discovery Channel, on the show that is called Married with Secrets. I will be on that show. I will be discussing Gerard Schaefer, Florida's first serial killer, and my true crime silent scream. So if you're out of the Eastern time zone, you'll have to look it up on your channel selector. But tune in. This book has been on television now 4 times, once in the UK and Australia, once in France, and the first time on the ID channel. So I am very proud of the book. The girls keep driving the train. So that being said, tonight we have a duo. I am being double teamed, and I love it. They write under the pseudonym L.L. Moore. It is the pen name for Cynthia Arsuaga and her teenage granddaughter, Larrna Lynz Moore. They decided to collaborate and write about the challenges and struggles young people with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, better known as ADHD, every day, but with a twist. The Star Child Saga was conceived and written with much, much love. The first book, Star Child Awakening, releases December of this year and is available for reduced pre-order until that date. Cynthia also writes multi-genre stories, mainly contemporary and paranormal romance, under the pen name of Gray Dixon. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the one and the same that has been on here before. And she will be coming back. Now she's combining the elements from her adult storytelling and venturing into young adult, new adult, enjoying every minute of the venture with Larrna. Welcome, ladies. I am so tickled that y'all are here.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Hey.
Hey, sweetheart, did you get your water?
Well, actually, it wasn't water I was getting. It's just a little something to fidget with, but.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I'm fidgeting with my pencil, so you're in good company. I understand. No worries. So we'll just fidget together. Okay. Now, I need to know, and inquiring minds want to know, what in the world brought y'all to where you are in the publication of this book? Larrna, was it something you always wanted to do, was to write, or was it a desire that you felt like you needed to tell your story in a book?
Well, actually, I wanted to do this project with Nana, but preferably I'm more creative with making little flowers and drawing and actually sculpting clay, but it's just, the book was just like little me expanding my creativity more of, but.
Good for you. And sculpting in clay, child, I wish I could sculpt in clay. I'm going to tell you, that is magnificent. I can't wait to see some of your pieces.
She's actually sold a few things.
And a garage sale.
Well, hey, but you sold them. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Your work was appreciated monetarily. A lot of people go through life and their work's never appreciated until they're long gone, like Van Gogh and Poe and a few others.
Yeah. But I think she's got the creative gene between her and her grandpa, and her mom's pretty creative as well. So I think she's.
Well, the grandma's not too shabby herself. Grandma ain't too shabby herself.
We
All right,
tried.
great. So great. What brought this book about? Was it the struggles that? And ladies and gentlemen, I understand where Larrna's coming from because I've dealt with ADHD with my grandchildren and my children and learned an awful lot about it when they diagnosed my grandson when he was 5 years old. So Gray, before we get started with that, let me just give a little background for those who are going, what the hell are they talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, better known as ADHD, the way it was explained to me with my grandson's psychologist is this. Most people, or I should say some people, have one brain that has many different moving parts, and that those moving parts are in sync with each other. In other words, if the front part of the brain has a thought process, it sends the neurons to the back part of the brain, which creates an action. People with ADHD, they have the moving parts within the big scope of the brain, but those moving parts have their own mind. They act independently of each other sometimes. So if I'm sitting and writing and I get distracted, I have a little pin that says, oh, a squirrel, because I get distracted and I go off on something else and forget what I'm doing. It is not that we're idiots, because we're not. Some of the most brightest people in the world. Einstein had ADHD, ladies and gentlemen, and he was a genius. But we have to discipline ourselves to make our brain work within its function, because things go off on tangents. So that being said, Gray, how did this project come about? What made y'all decide to write this beautiful story that y'all put together?
Well, I wanted to do something with her, and because the ADHD, it's like our whole family life revolves around it, and dealing with the struggles that we've been through mainly in school, and she was diagnosed very early, and it was just every year in school it was always a challenge, and to get her to focus, to do her work, to stay on track, and then they were always, nothing against public schools, but honestly, there's just too many kids out there to deal with, that the ADHD kids are always kind of like pushed aside, and they always kept saying, it's behavioral. No, it wasn't.
No, it's
behavior
not
had nothing
behavior.
to do with it.
No.
And then, she's not social, this and that. She's very articulate. She's definitely got a mind of her own. And, this girl was saying long, complicated sentences with big words when she was, could talk. She was 2-3 years old, and she was carrying on conversations with strangers. And they were looking at her like, that's a little person talking. So, this has been... Is that a little grown up? But
my grandpa was actually saying when I was like in second grade, this girl's gonna grow up to be a lawyer.
Yeah, she's a very good debater.
Yeah, in fact, even every time I tell my teacher about that, she's always like,
They know it. She's got a very sarcastic wit as well, and it's just.
I love it.
Yeah, she's definitely, yeah. But anyway, so obviously I've been writing for a number of years, and she is creative too, and her biggest challenge in any of her schoolwork was always the reading comprehension, and she could read something, speaking, it was difficult, but it was actually comprehending what she had read. So I figured, why can't we just join that together and, create something? And then around the ADHD, and it kind of evolved, but we were together, we sat down, we kind of did a mini outline. She picked the characters' names, who they were, what they did, and the story just evolved. And I would give her little assignments to do to bring it all together. I would write, I would ask her opinion each chapter. Okay, how did that sound? When I would pick her up from school, it's about a 20-minute drive, so we talked about the story. I said, okay, I'm here at this chapter. Where should I go with it? So in a way, she was writing that with me that way. She wasn't actually sitting down and writing everything out, but it was all of her input and her behaviors, her little quirks and everything are in the book. And when I even had my husband read it at one point, and there was certain phraseology that she was saying, and he said, I could see her saying this. He says, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe. And her mom read it, she just laughed out loud with somebody. Oh, I can imagine Larrna doing that. And
unfortunately, I never did.
But she wanted to. And she said, Nana, you got it. I wanted to do that so bad. How did you know that?
Yeah, there was actually one scene in the book where she's being sarcastically saying in her mind, some days I just wanted to just run down the hall, brush up against everybody, and I just wish ever since I read that, why didn't I do that my last day of Odyssey?
Oh, that would have been excellent.
Well, what it is she's had something, too, that we found out also with ADHD is a lot of the children have allergies or they have eczema really bad.
Yep.
This child has had eczema since she was 6 weeks old. We had to keep her basically covered up from her neck to her toes all the time. The poor little thing. In Florida in the summertime, that was pretty rough. But it was the only way because she was just always scratching and
I honestly don't mind it now.
Yeah, but she's kind of growing a little bit out of it. But that was the one thing. So she says, everybody always kept thinking, ooh, don't touch Larrna. She's, ew, that kind of thing. All through school, and that's really rough on a kid's self-esteem when they're, 6, 7,
that's
8
true.
years old, So that's what she's lived with. So I put the bullying, that kind of thing into the book itself and how she would react. And the one thing was, yes, I've got eczema and I'm going to give you the cooties. Oh, it was that kind of thing, So that was in the book.
So, Larrna, what you did in the book is you embraced. Last night on the show that I did with Gary Palminster, we talked about words having power, and you embraced those words and you owned them. Now, remember me telling you before the show about my little granddaughter that I lost? Well, she was 13 when we lost her. She also had eczema, psoriasis, and dermatitis. And that song that I played at the beginning of the show, she finally learned that she was okay the way she was, and it was right before she died. So I understand where you were coming from with the bullying in school, because children tend to be cruel, and that you were able to own it and say, okay, y'all can say what you want to, but guess what? It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think this story starts out that way. That's the other thing, too, with ADHD. They don't think there's anything wrong with them. This is their normal.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that out. I'm normal. You may think I'm different, but I'm not. And in a way, she evolves in the story through the 3 books that we're going to put into it. That's how it's happening. They're going to get it's got some fantasy in it because that's the twist, that they actually become like superheroes with powers.
But think about it. It's really I don't think of it as a twist, Larrna, because people with that unique ability of having ADHD, and I say that with much love, They do have superpowers, and the reason for that is y'all have so many creative things that you can do. You sculpt, you write, you draw. You think with the right side of your brain, and most people think with the left side of their brain, so they're not creative. But you are so creative. I'm in awe. I really am in awe of you.
Yeah, well, I actually have a different reason to believe why the fantasy isn't really that much of fantasy, because, with my ADHD, I actually have a very small power for premonitions, but to be honest, I chalk that up to running in the family.
Absolutely. Good for you, because family is your biggest support.
Yeah, and I also chalk my non-social behavior to the fact that I would kill for a sibling.
She was a sibling.
In fact, my friend that I went to his house earlier, he had a sibling that I said, if you don't want her, I'll take her for $50. I'll give you $50 for her. And Ethan said, you can have her for free.
I love
little
it.
Sister.
Yeah, little sister. I think she's about 8 years old. I never really asked, but yeah, I would really want a sibling.
Well, you'll have to talk to your mother about that.
Yeah, but you know what you could do though, Larrna? What you could do is you could maybe stay after school and help a child with some extra tutoring, or go to the Girls and Boys Club or to the library and offer your tutoring services, and be a big sister at the Big Sisters Big Brothers organization.
She does have to help the kids. She helps at school, so she's always trying to help. So
yeah, at school, my classmates tend to struggle a little with math, and I fly through it in like 2 seconds. Yeah, so sometimes I ask this problem, is there anybody who needs help? And if she says no, then I'll just sit at my desk and fiddle with the Post-its till I make a flower out of them. Yeah, but if she says yes and their names, I'll go over to them and see what I can do. Yeah, but it might take a minute for me because I'm one of the 4 kids in my class who is in pre-algebra, and everybody else is in regular math, including my friend Ethan, who is actually pretty smart in science, but almost everything else he's...
See, math was not my friend. Math was never my friend.
Math is my mom's best friend. Don't tell Uli.
Yeah, she scored in the 7th grade. She scored at college freshman level.
Wow.
So I know. So, but she doesn't do well with the English. That's why like I said, we try to find ways.
But I am getting better.
Yeah,
in the beginning of the school year, we did something with bullying, what we think the definition of it is, and to be honest, I really did a short story on it because it was either that or get suspended my first week for using inappropriate language. Yeah, so I wrote a little short story on bullying. 3 kids, they were starting their first year of high school. One gets bullied because she's poor. The other gets left alone because she's rich. And another rich girl who is the bully picks on the poor girl, and her rich friend helps her out and stands up for her.
Well, you know
instead
what?
of just writing a sentence or something, which is all the teacher was asking, she actually wrote a story.
Well, actually, she was asking for about 4 sentences, which is actually what definition is. But
okay, well, let's put that in principle of math. Math and writing and or English work hand in hand when you think about it. So when the teacher asked for 4 sentences, Larrna, and I can't even talk now. Y'all done got me so excited I can't even talk plain. Larrna decided she was just going to blow the teacher out of the water and say, okay, you want 4 sentences? Watch this. I'll give you a whole story. Well, that's a whole bunch of math.
Well, like I said, I only did that because he'll do that or get suspended for being using inappropriate language.
She would.
Because the curse word dictionary is in my vocabulary, unfortunately. Again, I chalked that up to my parents.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, I may have to adopt her, Gray, and bring her down here. I love her.
Well, does your daughter-in-law or whatever would allow me to, if they have siblings,
of course.
if they have multiple children, because I would love a sibling.
We have all kinds of children that come and go at this house.
Yeah.
Grown children, little children, we have all kinds of. You would have fun at this house. Trust me, you would have fun at this house. So let me ask you something, Larrna. When you're in school with the ADHD, do you find yourself having trouble some days focusing when your allergies have kicked in as opposed to other days when the allergies are not so bad?
Well, my allergic reactions don't really kick in at school, but in a matter of if I get distracted, yeah. But fortunately, the work there is pretty easy because back at IC, they were starting us really far ahead compared to at Center, so I knew a lot when I first started. Yeah.
We took the midterm last year. Well, actually, I guess it was January of 2017. We took her out of the public school, middle school.
Because a couple kids tried to strangle me.
Yeah, the bullying was getting extremely bad, and they didn't really care. They weren't addressing her, the ADHD. She was falling behind a lot, and they just kept saying, she needs to focus, she just needs to focus. Okay. Anyways, we found out through a program through the state that this particular, there's some schools that will, they not specialize, but they smaller classrooms, more attention to children with learning disabilities, which they consider ADHD. And she has an IEP, which will follow her all the way through college. And we were able to get into it, and it's like 20 minutes away, and it's only like how many kids are in your class this year?
About 20.
Yeah, about 20. Last year there were less, but so the public middle school is still in her brain because it was such a traumatic thing. We were literally getting worried for her because it was just so bad.
And why? I do not understand why public school, because my granddaughter was bullied. They had to pull her out of school. I do not understand why the public school system does not address bullying. Bullying is
because
something
they're
that
idiots.
is, well, that too. But I agree. I still agree. But that being said, school should be a place of refuge, just like a job should be a place of refuge. But when you take into perspective what has been going on in Hollywood for years and years and years, what goes on in the workplace, it starts on that same level, and it's generational. So people that become bullies are people that were bullied, and they don't have any self-esteem or self-respect, so they want everybody in the bottom of that pit with them. And anybody that they think is weaker than themselves, that's who they go for. Right.
Well, and she's shorter than most, and, so there was just a lot of things going on, and then for just no reason, they were pushing her. They practically broke one of her fingers. They cut her. They were strangling her and kept telling the teacher, the vice principal, it's always in the same corridor. They try to keep the 7th, 8th graders apart, but these 8th grade girls would come in there, and if it wasn't for someone actually videotaping it on their phone one day to show that this is what was happening, the teachers were just dusting it off, just like nothing.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is, one of the girls she caught on video. She was actually one of my bullies last year,
the year before.
in my 6th grade year. Yeah.
Wow.
And she said she didn't want to show the administrator the video because she was afraid she was going to get in trouble for that. And so I promised her protection against that if she showed the video. Yeah, and she didn't really need because another person stepped up and said, I don't care if I get in trouble. This is justice. Well, I actually can't say that, but still.
So kids did stick up for her, which I thought, wow. The principal even called and said he was so shocked that the kids came forward. He was so proud of them to come forward because they were afraid. Kids are still afraid to even say something about watching it happen, let alone being the one doing it, you know? I mean,
and that is so wrong. It is a shame because
it is.
Children should be able to go to school and get an education, and children should be able to embrace each other's differences because we are all different. There's not a person on this earth that's the same as anybody else, and we all bring something to the table.
Mhm. Well, that's what we hope we kind of convey in our little saga. So. And,
So,
all right, let's go ahead.
And those bullies have absolutely no reason to pick on other people when they have flaws of their own.
Exactly.
I'm sure Jill, she was really big as the 8th grade, and apparently, like talking from that time period. And she turns out to have been in 7th grade at that time, which is the same grade I was in, when she looked as big as Free, who was an 8th grader, who was also one of my bullies. And I'm pretty sure the reason for that is because she failed a grade, and Free probably had the lack of self-esteem. So they really have no reason to pick on other people, because I was not their only target, apparently.
It's just anger issues, I think, too. At that age, it just doesn't seem right.
If that were the case, I would have been a bully, too.
Well, I know.
But
you don't have anger issues, huh?
Yes, I do.
But Larrna, think about this, sweetheart. The fact that you understand that you may have some anger issues, but your anger is not directed at people that didn't cause your uniqueness. It's not a disability. You're unique. Your uniqueness came about because that's just the way you were made. And because you did not allow their behavior to define who you were, you're the better person for it. Yeah, it was a defining moment. It shows how stupid and idiotic people are. But you took control of your life and said, okay, this isn't going to define me. I am who I am, and y'all can either accept it or not. And that is such a wonderful life lesson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about how writing as a team has brought the two of y'all closer and opened up communication lines, doorways, things that maybe not have happened had y'all two not had this bonding experience and written as a team. Gray, you go first.
Well, I think, she's coming into, those teenage years, that are always difficult, period, right? And, but we've always kind of been close, I think. I mean, I kind of started her out, when her mom had to go to work, I was here taking care of her as an infant. So we had that kind of bond, but as she got into school, we kind of got a little distant. So I think this coming, I put it this way, when we sit and talk about it in the living room together, and I'm reading it to her or a passage or something like that, and my daughter came out about a month ago, and she said, I overhear y'all talking and back and forth, and I mean, Larrna is definitely engaging in the conversation and everything, which she sometimes tends not to do, and but she just said, her mother just said, y'all sound so cute together. You just, talking about the story and the characters and everything, and it just warmed her heart. So I guess in a way you couldn't ask for anything more, I guess. So I don't
Larrna,
know how she looks at it, but
we're going to ask her. Larrna, what is your take on this? Have you felt like that you and your grandmother have gotten closer, and this is something now that y'all share that is unique to the two of y'all, and that this experience is going to help you as you grow older, and once you fly the nest, you'll always have this. How do you feel about this?
I don't really know, to be honest. Just, I guess we do have that bond, but of course, yes, we do have those moments.
Of course.
Moments.
You cannot deny that.
I know. We have those moments.
We all have those moments, my darling. We all. We all have those
moments. Actually went south one time, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Good.
I've had many go south, so it's no problem. Let me tell you, my girls. I have two girls, and when they were growing up, one of the favorite sayings to me was, "Mother, I hate you." And I would say, well, that's okay because, I would say that's okay because I love you enough for both of us. Well, when I say that, what are you going to say to it? I mean, there's no answer. There's no smart-ass comeback for it. Okay, I'll shut up and go to my room now.
You're right. You're right. What can you say to that? Exactly.
So now they say that to their kids when they say it. So, Gray, remember that the next time. Yeah, remember that the next time you and Larrna go to opposite corners. That's okay. I love you enough for both of us.
Yeah. I don't think she's ever said that. She may have thought it, but I don't think she's ever verbalized that.
Got that right.
See? It all comes out on the show.
Yeah.
That's why we call it Off the Chain.
Yeah, the chain.
Huh?
It's just the name of it's the name
of the show.
Oh.
Off the Chain.
That's why we call it Off the Chain, because we never know where conversation's going to go. It takes on some life form.
So this is basically an improv channel?
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah. You got it. We are an improv. So let me read a little bit about this wonderful book. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called Star Child Awakening. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Miss Larrna is this star child, and she is awakening. She's coming into her own because she's growing up into a wonderful, wonderful young lady, and I see in the future Larrna going places that most of us wish we could with the ability she has in math. I mean, the child's in pre-algebra, for crying out loud. I couldn't even pass regular algebra in high school. So for this child to be able to do pre-algebra in middle school just blows me away.
Well, actually, pre-algebra is the thing before algebra. And
I know.
It's actually at my grade level.
But, honey, I couldn't even pass algebra in 10th grade.
Yeah, but it's easy for her, so that's
I know.
The thing. So, yeah.
So I see her going many, many places, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all keep your eyes and ears open for author L.L. Moore and for Larrna Lynz Moore specifically, because this young woman is going places. But this is what the book is about. Throughout the history of man, see, I can't talk anymore. Throughout the history of man, valiant warriors emerged to protect those who could not defend themselves. We're back to the bullying thing. These warriors often changed history for good or evil. Today, one child of the stars will find purpose. This is her story. Larrna Summersby, 17 going on 18, is different. Weird, not normal. That's how the popular students at Crestview High School see her. She can do things, strange and paranormal even. Things she can't talk about. With spring break beginning in less than 8 hours, she's ready to relax, hang out with her two best friends, and prepare for life after graduation. The school day starts when her brother claims men in black suits are coming for them. Then there's the bullying head cheerleader giving her a bloody nose, major exams she needs to ace, and the star athlete who's crush-worthy finally notices her. But nothing prepares her for what comes next. Once awakened, Larrna's control over the developing powers within will either destroy those she's desired to protect or herself. But reluctantly, she accepts her fate. Now, Gray, in that synopsis, I see all of the elements that we have talked about so far tonight. The bullying, the quote-unquote weirdness, which she's not weird. She is exceptional. The things that she can do. I have a pretty good feeling that Miss Larrna's probably an empath as well as other things. And to put all of this in a book, what brought y'all, how did you know to combine all that to make this amazing story? Is it because of the things that Larrna's gone through? Was it something, Larrna, that you had dancing around in the back of your mind? And I noticed that you named her Larrna after you, which is exceptional. I love it.
Yeah, you could definitely tell based on what I said before that I did not choose that name.
She didn't want it, and we tossed it back and forth. She did not. She wanted a different name, but we couldn't honestly come up with another name that really fit. Just the last name, you know. But
yet you can come up with 100 different.
I know. But the name.
Well, it fits
the name
the story
was, because it fitted so well because it was her, and there's a nickname that we called and we bring it out, and you know, so it didn't work any other way. It just would not work any other way, and we just changed the last name to protect it. But that was it. But all the other names are definitely fictional.
Would it be safe to say that this book starts this journey for this young lady, and does she incorporate other people who have her similar traits to help her on her quest?
Yeah. What happens is she finds out that her brother, the star athlete, they all, and his sister, and then that comes into this book too. I don't want to give too much away, but they're different, and the black suits that are you know, federal agents are coming to get them, and anybody that's that got tested previous, you know, to the, it's kind of like it happened before the story started, and they slowly find out they have other things. Each has an ability, and they're getting stronger, and they fight, and they're all brought together in Quantico around the country. All these kids are being gathered, and you know, so it's a battle. And the first story ends where they're getting ready. Okay, we're going to go fight this. We're not going to be guinea pigs for the government. And but that gets into the book too, the insurrection with the Star Children. But she doesn't think there's anything. She doesn't feel like there's anything special about her. She always just thought it was weird what she could do. She can actually move things with it. She has telekinesis, and so she can move things. But it used to be just little pencils or a little ball across the table or something like that. But she gets stronger and stronger and stronger to where she can actually move fire, water, everything. She can move air.
Yeah, but in reality, if I had that power, by the time I'm 17 going on 18, I'd be able to lift this house because I would have exercised that. So that way, by the time I am old enough, so that way before I can go to real person jail, I make everybody who made my life a piece of garbage suffer.
Yeah, well, that's not, violence isn't good. But
that's
was
why
the other
I said do it before I can go to real person jail.
Real person jail. Okay. But
I
that's
understand her thought process.
But that thought process is in the book where she goes through this. Am I supposed to use this kind of power for good or for evil? You know, how am I supposed to use this? How can I bring world peace? You know, with just pushing things around. And the stronger she gets, she almost is afraid to use it because she begins to see how using it can be turned bad. So there is going to be a battle between, you know, good and evil, you know, coming up. Kids that think, oh, this is cool, I can do anything I want to type thing, and that's the bad side. And those that want to do to help, and that's her fate. She's supposed to help the younger children, the innocent ones, to help humanity. So that's how it is, you know, a little philosophical stuff gets in there type thing, but that's I love twist, what, you know,
I love the things that you have at the beginning of the first chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read this because I want y'all to think about it. She quotes Feel Good, and the quote is, "An awakening can happen in a flash, and in a flash you are changed forever." And those words are so, so true.
That was kind of, the starting of it.
Yeah, when all of a sudden we realize, hey, I'm in charge of my destiny. I'm in charge of my life. It's like the light bulb goes off over the top of the head. I love that. And then
there's quotes in all of them. So there's quotes in every chapter, and it's all with her.
I love it when you quote Oscar Wilde.
It's all relating to what she's trying to do. So.
When you quote Oscar Wilde, "Never love anybody who treats you like you're ordinary." I read that, and I read it twice, and then I read it a third time, and that is a perfect quote, because if you love somebody who treats you like you're ordinary, you'll never be anything but ordinary. We need to be extraordinary.
Extraordinary,
Go ahead,
special.
Baby.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, the ironic thing with that is we're actually reading the book Wonder in class, and that's exactly how Augie's mom treats her, to keep him from thinking that because of his face he's a monster. But kind of goes against that quote.
That movie's out now, right? Where Augie is going to school.
Next week.
I think it's next week.
Yeah, 6 more days.
6 more, and I know you're going to go see it, right?
Yep. Like my mom was actually happy that I wanted to see it.
Well, I wait to see it. I'm going to have to wait till it comes on cable, but I am excited to see it because I have a brother, Larrna, who is mentally and physically challenged, and he's 13 months younger than me. And he has done some extraordinary things in his life when people told him that he couldn't. They told him he could not ride a bicycle. They told him he could not go to work. They told him he could not go to school. They told him that he could not dress himself. Well, because he is an extraordinary person, he didn't listen. And because we did not love him like he was ordinary, he not only went to school, he graduated from high school, he's been working since he was 5 years old, and he learned to ride a bicycle before I did.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because if you didn't say that last part, I would be like to those people.
Exactly. We did not love him like he was ordinary. We love him because he is extraordinary. And my brother taught me more than I could ever teach him, because he does not believe failure is an option. No matter what we do in life, we get up and we do it again and do it again and do it again until we get it right. The failure is when we don't get back up. So to see you publishing at such a young age and finding focus in that, you are an extraordinary person.
We think so too.
I know she gets bashful and shy when we praise her, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
She's very special to me. So, writing with family, Larrna. You wrote that little short story at school by yourself. Writing with your grandmother, has it taught you anything?
That writing takes a long time.
Yes.
And it's a solitary thing.
It is a solitary thing.
And it does take a long time,
And you write it over and over and over. And you mark it out.
The first draft is the easy part. It's the editing to get it right, as close to perfect as you can,
Yes. And I can't tell you how many edits I've done on the first 13 chapters of a book I'm working on now, and that's as far as I've gotten, because I can't.
I know. I'm writing I've got a book I'm doing with Gray, and I'm also working this one for L.L. Moore, and I've decided I'm just doing one in the morning, and then in the evening I'm doing the other one, and because I'm doing them both at the same time. Because I figure, I just have to shut off my brain a little bit when you're doing, an erotic. When you're doing an erotic type book, and then having to go to young adults, so I have to have some time in between before I can do it.
Because all of a sudden you'll have your erotic and the young adult, and parents will be going, "What the hell is she adding this?"
I can't have that. There's one little, well, maybe two little kissing scenes, and it's her first kiss, so it's like, how awkward. She says, "Nanny, you could just skip that part reading." I don't need to hear that.
Hashtag awkward moment.
Yes, awkward moment. But it was a very chaste kiss, so it wasn't anything.
And Larrna, one day you will have a chaste kiss. So this is just preparing you for your future, way down the road.
I have no idea who it might be with, but I have an idea.
Okay.
You say it.
No, I'm not saying anything.
No, it's y'all's secret. We don't want to tell the world because the world's not ready for it yet. Nah.
No.
Please do not tell the world.
No, she's not ready for that.
No.
But anyways, that's So.
So when is the second book coming out?
I'm trying to put it. Well, I may still change it. I'm not really sure yet, but she's going to be at the Space Coast book thing for June. Yes.
How is there? I'll get to hug her.
And they were talking about maybe some people some of the authors just saying if they're going to have a release, it's going to be the release is going to be during that time.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to maybe push it to that. I was going to have it maybe late spring, but I might push it there. But if I can get through it, then we might just do the third book by then. I'm not sure. So it just depends on how the holidays go here and all. So.
Well, when is your book under Gray Dixon going to be out?
That one, it'll probably be like February, maybe.
Okay, because I want to bring you back on and talk about that one.
Okay, because February, the male character, his name is Valentine, so I'm thinking Valentine's Day-ish, so.
Well, I think I've got some openings in April. I'll bring you back in April, and we'll talk about that one.
We can talk off camera. So,
ladies and gentlemen, y'all can't talk about this one right now because we'll be bringing her back on that one. So the second
I can give you the title name. I can give you the title.
Okay.
It's called The Angel and The Devil and His Angel.
Ooh.
So is he really the devil, or is he just a devilish guy? So
that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And the second book for L.L. Moore is Star Child Awakening.
No, the first one is Awakening. The second one is Star Child Insurrection.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
The third one will be Star Child Transcendence.
So y'all can't go now because we are drawing to the close of our hour, ladies.
Okay.
I told you this hour would go by fast.
Okay.
So, Larrna, tell the folks the name of your book and where you can be found so you can start your fan club.
I need to probably say it.
Okay.
We do have a website, and it's llmoreauthor.weebly.com. That's our little website, and it has all the books there, the 3 books. The first one is until December 5th. It is for 99 cents. After that, it does get raised to its regular price of $4.99. It will be in paperback form as well. You can get all that on Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, iBooks, whatever format you want to.
And where can Gray Dixon be found?
Can also be found at Gray Dixon Rom. Well, let me see if I get. I always get that mixed up because I have it between my. I don't really have a website. I just always send everybody to iHeart. Huh? But on Facebook, I am on Facebook at Gray Dixon. Dot 50, I think. That's really weird, but it's whatever Facebook picks.
And Arthur L.L. Moore is also on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, under L.L. Moore. Well, actually, I think it's Larrna.
Ironically, I'm actually friends with her on Facebook.
Yes, you are.
I'm friends with myself.
She's friends with herself.
Don't feel bad. I'm friends with myself.
My personality sounds awkward.
It's not under L.L. Moore. It's under Larrna, Larrnal Moore, initial L Moore.
Yep.
That's where it is under, because she already took it for her personal. So, but that's the author page.
So, ladies and gentlemen, no, you can't go now. You have to wait till after the show. But friend Gray and friend Larrna, and buy this book for your children for Christmas, birthdays, Hanukkah, anniversaries, because it's an important book on many, many levels. It's entertaining, but it also teaches many, many life lessons that young people need to learn, because bullying is not okay. Tolerance is not okay. Not accepting someone for who they are and where they are in life is not okay.
And
Would that be a fair? Go ahead. The horrible
thing is Orlando actually has a no bullying law, and yet Odyssey is still here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop the bullying one person at a time. Don't be afraid when you see something to say something. And with that being said, we are in the last 2 minutes of our show. I want to thank you both so much for coming on the show. And don't hang up when the show goes dark, because I have to tell you something. But I do want to thank you both so much. And Larrna, you did a magnificent job. An excellent job. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait for you to come back.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, you know that at the end of every show, there are things that I say, and I believe them with all of my heart. And one of those things is don't feel special, be special. Because if you just feel special, you will never be special. The person that you are, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. So if you want to change who you are, then change what you do. And if you want to achieve success, would you please stop asking people for permission? Just go out and achieve it. Stop asking people, because they're not going to give you permission. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having had that experience with you, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know I say this at the end of every show. That is your trademark. People will forget your name. People will forget what you look like. But people will never, ever, ever forget how you made them feel. So join us again Wednesday night I forget who my guest is. It's been that kind of week. But join us again for Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. When we start a new week, I will only have one show next week as I will be out of town. But join us anyway because we are always here off the chain having fun. And so tonight I want to thank my guests. They have been lovely, lovely, lovely. Go friend them, buy their books. Learn things, ladies and gentlemen. Until next Wednesday night, this is your host, Yvonne Mason, and my guest, L.L. Moore. And we are off the chain. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're off the air now, but of course everything's going up into archives. So when I get off from here, Gray, I'm going to do like I did before, and as soon as the show goes up into archives, I'll tag you, and then you can put it on Larrna's page and put it anywhere to promote this book and the show, and then tomorrow I will put it up on podcast.com. Podcast Garden, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Spreaker. And then I will tag you in those as well, and then you take them and run with them too. Okay. Are you going to send it like on Larrna L. Moore on Facebook or Gray Dixon as well? I'll do both. I just need to know which one to send it to. Yeah, I'll put it if I can get. Sometimes when I try to send it to a new page that's come up, it won't. I have to fight with it. But I can send it to you, and then you can send it to hers, and then put it on your website. Put them all on your website. Work. Yeah, I'll put it on the website. That'll work. Okay. Thank you, Miss Larrna, so much. You were magnificent.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, baby. Thank you, Gray. I will talk to you girls later. Y'all did great. I can't wait to read her book. Okay. Thanks. Have a good evening. You're welcome. You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.